people, Satya here in Singapore, and thank you so much for joining me on the Night Owl podcast. You guys, back on it as always, just trying to, well, to be honest, it feels like I'm explaining away my entire life, but I'm not here to justify anything. I'm not here to give excuses for anyone or anything, but I am here trying to talk it out, help you guys see that there are many sides to every story. There are reasons why people behave the way that they do, because that's the reason I went to school in the first place. I wanted to study psychology to understand why people do what they do, why they're motivated in certain ways, why they take revenge, why they feel the need to, lash out when they're hurt. Why do people behave the way that they do? And it was important for me to understand. So whenever I get glimpses of understanding, right, from life around me, whether it's conversations or movies or music or examples in a storybook that I'm reading to my daughter, it could be from anywhere at any time, and I am ready to receive whenever it does hit me, that I'm ready to rock and roll and jump on a podcast and explain it to you guys so you can see what I see as well. And hopefully I'm eloquent enough to be able to explain it in such a way where you can feel what I'm feeling and see what I'm seeing. But either way, I feel like it's my obligation to share, because it could mean an easier life for you. It could mean a closer step towards peace in your life, or actually enjoying your life for what it is, for taking a risk that you've always wanted to take. Whatever the case may be, I'm here to document, to share, to teach, because I don't know, it's what I want to do. So today I want to kind of tackle this idea that idle hands are the devil's playground. And I hear this so many times. I mean, my mom has said it to me, my grandmother said it to me, don't be idle. Dumb things happen when you don't have something to do. So I want to take that on, actually, and explain what I see in that purpose. Now, I understand what it means to be idle. It means that you have something to do, but you're choosing not to do it. But the fact that it's the devil's playground, I don't know. I know that our thoughts run away with us, right? When we have nothing to focus on. And the fact that our thoughts run away is not necessarily a bad thing. If you can find a way to actually observe your thoughts, you can actually follow what's occupying your mind the most at the moment. A lot of times when I ask people, hey, what's wrong? Sometimes they're unable to answer. Sometimes they say, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I just don't feel good. I feel crap. I feel like shit. I feel, lethargic. I feel like, unmotivated, depressed. People like to say depressed and anxious a lot, but I don't even know if they realize where that's coming from or what it is that's triggering it for them. So a lot of times when they say, those all-encompassing words, I ask them, well, okay, when did it start? And they can't tell me. Well, what happened? And they can't tell me. It just suddenly happened. No. It doesn't suddenly happen. Something changed your trajectory of your thought pattern. Something moved that train in a specific direction. Maybe it was an image that flashed across the screen. I know for a while after I went through my abortions, every baby commercial, every baby food commercial, every diaper commercial, every mama's milk commercial, like all of that, I was like, holy crap, like the universe is telling me that I suck at life, and this is the decision I made, and now I'm paying for it because I see all these commercials and it makes me sad. But eventually I realized that I had unresolved healing, right, that I needed to do still where it came to children and me as a mom, or me as a potential mom at the time, because there was such a time that I wasn't actually a mom. But every time those things popped up, I needed to deal with what I thought of myself with regard to that specific subject. Now, that could happen for love as well. Maybe it's a song you guys shared, or a movie you guys watched once, or a place you guys went to eat, or a space that you spent time in. I remember when I first left my home, I left my husband, I came back to Singapore. For the longest time, going to the grocery store was traumatic for me. Why? Because I was used to buying for him, to cook for him, to make him feel better, to make him feel loved, like doing little things that would show him that I cared, that I put him number one in my life or whatever. I needed him to know that he was important. And it's the same for the kids. I did that for the kids as well. So every time I went to the grocery store, I find myself, hey, you know what? Aaron would like this, or Aaliyah would like that, or my ex-husband would really, really enjoy this kind of food. And I had to stop myself in my tracks and say, yeah, but I'm not in the States. Yeah, but I'm not taking care of them anymore. I'm doing something else entirely. So I had to retrain myself to go to the grocery store and not think about those things, which meant I had to deal with those heavy feelings of I abandoned them. I left them behind. Does that make me a good or a bad person? Did I do it for all the right reasons? I had to go through that. I had to deal with that thought process in order for me to heal. Same thing with, loss of a child or giving up a child, however you want to see it. It doesn't matter. I don't care that you judge me. I've done the work. I'm okay with it right now. I have come to terms with the fact that that was the decision I made back then. It may or may not have been the best decision, but it was the best that I could afford at the time because of the choices I saw before me, and I'm okay with that at the moment. But yes, it still does kind of twinge a little bit when I see those things. Even then, getting together for the holidays, just putting up the Christmas tree even can be traumatic because I'm looking at it from the standpoint of once upon a time, I had this big, huge family and a big, huge tree, and I was able to buy whatever I wanted and spend tons of money on presents. I mean, let's face it, if you start buying Christmas presents in October and stashing them around the house, hell yeah, you have a ton of presents under the tree by the time Christmas rolls around. Anyway, it was a point of, thinking about those customs and traditions that I fought to build for myself only to have to let go of them entirely because the situation itself didn't work out the way that I saw. So a lot of those things cause trauma. Trauma is bound to happen. It just does. But how you deal with those things really matters. So when people say, oh, idle hands, the devil playground, you better go do something, a lot of times it's because they don't want themselves to be stuck sitting around not doing anything. They don't want to face their thoughts. They don't want to deal with the things that come up when you're quiet, when you're not doing anything. They would rather sleep it away or numb it away with TV or alcohol or idle talk or whatever. But the point being that I don't believe that it's the devil's playground. I believe it's the source of a lot of healing if you dare sit and watch the thoughts that cross your mind. The hardest thing is not to be taken in by them, as in like swept away by the current of whatever the thought process happens to be at the time. Maybe it is going back through all of the good times that you once had with a loved one, even though it ended badly and you no longer have them around. Maybe they passed away. Maybe they broke up with you. Either way, right? The thought train kind of takes you on this journey, and maybe it leads you to tears and maybe it doesn't. But the point being that if you can remain an observer in that process, if you can remain in a position where you sit and acknowledge that the thoughts happen and realize why they happen and deal with the story you're telling yourself about your worth or your abilities or your standing, your moral standing. Did you make a good decision? Did you make a bad decision? Are you a good person, bad person? What does all of this mean? Why does it hurt you so much? If you can deal with those things and really have that conversation with yourself, there is a chance that these idle moments can really set you free from a lot of those restrictive, traumatic thoughts, those memories that make you feel sad and nostalgic for a time that used to be but no longer is. So I would love to have you challenge the next person that tells you, hey, idle hands, the devil's playground. Yeah, but why is it you don't want to be still? Why is it you are so afraid of not doing anything for a little while? I would love the opportunity to sit and not do anything for a little while, mostly because I'm a mom, my work is never done. So if the work in the office is finished, I got to go to work in the kitchen. And then if I don't have a project that I'm prepping for, I need to make sure baby girl's schoolwork is done. So I don't have idle time that much, but I can make space for it if I wanted to. And I know from my own experience that that idle time is crucial for me to process some of these thoughts that take over sometimes. These thoughts that are fighting to get acknowledged and accepted because, yeah, they're a part of your psyche. They're a part of your being. You have bad thoughts sometimes. Guess what? Everybody has bad thoughts sometimes. There are times where people, have terrible thoughts about their kids because they are driving them nuts. And in an instant, they change gears and they realize, okay, well, that was a momentary lapse and I was mad at the kids and that's why I felt the way that I did. But you know what? I love my kids. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't trade them for the world. So it happens. And the worst thing you can do is push it aside and pretend it doesn't, or avoid any opportunity to sit with your thoughts and really understand where they're coming from or why they hurt so bad. Because if you could just take a couple of minutes to take a look, be brave enough to face those things, you could potentially get rid of them as bad thoughts altogether. You could potentially heal yourself to the point that when those topics come up, they are no longer a trigger from you. And how would that feel to have that kind of freedom? I'm saying that's what I want. So I love you guys. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, if you want to yell at me because I just, took one of your mom's favorite sayings and kind of put it on its head, let me know. But I'm saying it doesn't have to be the devil's playground. it could be a source of healing. It could be a place where you really do the work, the work on healing. Yeah. I'll catch you later. Bye.